Okay, we really want to continue on where we left off last week before we get to this week's Parashat, because really we didn't get a chance to speak about one of the main concepts, which is Matan Torah. We spoke about Yitro. We spoke about the greatness of Yitro, why the Parashat was given, why the Torah was given in this Parashat, what attributes he had that it made him a favorable person to choose, to be chosen to be the person who gives Matan Torah in him. And we finished and we got to the end that he got to Moshe Rabbeinu and he got into the camp and he saw how Moshe Rabbeinu was sitting and everybody was standing around him, and he told them appoint judges over thousands, over hundreds, over fifties, over tens. He tells them you should make a judge for every 1,000 should have one judge. Every 100 should have a judge per 100. Every 50, another judge. And every 10, another judge, and so on and so forth. Because if not, you're going to burn out. Why? Imagine now you have two people, have Moshe and Aaron, and the Skenim, and the 70 elders. You have 72 people, 600,000 men, who are coming to them every day asking them questions in halakha. Right? How could they answer them, every single one of them? They can only answer in a rapid way. Yes, no, no, yes, no, no, yes, no, no. Why? There's certain Rabbanim who have the time, when you come to ask them a question, they'll explain it to you. They'll talk to you. They say, okay, let me explain to you what's going on. Right? And the other rabbis, you call them, Rabbi, is it allowed? Yes, hangs up the phone, you know?
They say boo. Instead of bracha v'atzlacha, they say boo even shorter.
Oh, yeah, some rabbis are so busy that even that bracha v'atzlacha they don't have to say, right? So we see that if the more busy the rabbi is, the less likely he'll have the time to actually invest into the conversation. But if he's less busy, then he'll have time to go. So what does the Torah tell him? Make for yourself smaller judges, and the bigger matters that when they come and they work up the circuit courts, today they call it circuit courts, they work up the circuit courts and then they go from appellate courts and then they go to Supreme Court. So who was the Supreme Court of Dilma Avdalot? Moshe Rabbeinu. Right? He said, until he's going to get to you, only the big matters. But the small things, Rabbi, is borel mutar b'Shabbat? He tells him, no, asur. Right? He says, how do you do borel? Now this is going to go to Moshe Rabbeinu. Now he has to answer him, Eli, ochel v'lo psolet, yad v'lo kli, le'altar, all these things. And it's really a simple question, and it's, for someone of Moshe Rabbeinu's caliber, it's not a question you should be asking, right? So he tells them you should appoint people, smart people. He gives them a criteria of who the people need to be, and appoint them so that way you don't get tired out. You're not going to get burnt out. You are one of the people, and not only you guys, also the nation. What happens to the nation every time they ask a question, they get yes, no. What's going to happen to them? They're never going to grow. They're never going to grow. They're never going to know anything. They're going to be dependent on the rabbi their whole entire life because they're never going to know what was going on. That's the concept of Nasev Nishma, right? We'll do and we'll listen. What's also an important concept? Not just to do it, but also to listen, to understand why you're doing it. Right? We spoke about that last week, right? What's interesting, he gives them a criteria which includes 4 things. I'm going to go through this very briefly, but 4 things is a criteria he gives them. One thing he tells them, Ish Chayil, which basically means a man of valor. What does it mean, a man of valor? A man of prestige. He has to be wealthy, he has to have money, he has to be prestigious, he has to be a person who has the ability to influence people, he's a person who is a leader. That's the first criteria. Good? Second criteria, he has to be Anshe Emet. I'm skipping one for a reason. Anshe Emet, a person of truth. Every time you talk to this guy, he's always talking truths. He's not a liar, he doesn't beat around the bush, he's not sleazy, going around trying to figure. No, truthful guy. And more, Soneh Betzah. He hates bribery. Hates bribery. Come to my money, he doesn't care about money. Money is not a motivator for the guy. Not good and not bad. And the 4th criteria he tells him, and he has to be fearing of God. So what's the main question over here? You have 3 criteria that basically you listed one of the greatest people among the nation. Also rich, also prestigious, also a person who's influential. Top of that, he's truthful, he doesn't lie, and on top of that, he hates money. He doesn't run after bribery, or you can't bribe the guy. He's not crooked at all. So if I have these 3 things, what do I need the concept of Yireh Hashem? Why do I need him to be God-fearing, right? This is what Yitro tells Moshe Rabbeinu. He has to be God-fearing. So on this, we have to understand what's the concept and what's the greatness of a person who is God-fearing. God-fearing, if you're asking me, out of all of them, out of all 4 of the criteria, God-fearing would have been enough by itself. If the person is God-fearing, you don't need the other 3. Why? Because a person who's God-fearing, he'll never come to take bribery. A person who's God-fearing will never come to tell a lie. A person who's God-fearing, people are attracted to him. How do you know? The bigger the rabbi is, the more he knows, the more Yireh Hashem he is, the more people respect and value his opinion, what he has to say. So Yireh Hashem really encompasses them all. But what's such a great ma'ala? What's such a great attribute of this idea of being a person who's God-fearing. So we said the story in the past. Can't believe it's been already over a year. But it's a very, very interesting story that we see what is this attribute and why it's so great. There was a guy who owned a business that he used to buy a lot of products from different wholesalers. All around, he would buy different products from different wholesalers, right? So every day in the morning, what he would do, like some people over here, not going to mention names, every morning he would go and he would make a piles of envelopes with cash inside, right? 1 cash, 2 cash, and every one of the vendors, he had a specific amount of cash in the envelope, right? That day, he takes his truck, he goes out to one of the vendors. On his third stop over there, he gets to the vendor, he tells him, I'm here to pick up my order. He sees that one of the workers is there and the boss is not there. He goes to him, okay, no problem, load the truck. So the worker comes, he loads the truck, he puts everything on the truck, and the guy hands him an envelope. As soon as he's walking to the car, the guy starts counting through the money, and he sees he gave him extra money. So the worker screams out to the guy, sir, excuse me, you gave me extra money. There's supposed to be 1,200 over here, there's 2,500 in the envelope. The guy looks at him in shock. He goes to him, I don't understand, this is cash in your hand. He's like, you see I have 7 envelopes in my pocket. You think I would even notice if it was $1,300? Why'd you come and tell me? What provoked you to come and tell me? The guy wasn't going to believe it. You know what he tells him? He's like, you're right. Maybe you wouldn't know, but God would know. And that's not how I operate. And he gives him back the envelope and they switch. 6 months later, this guy, who was a very, very wealthy guy, had one of the biggest businesses in Manhattan. He goes to the doctor tells him, listen, unfortunately, you can't continue like this. The stress is going to kill you. You have tumi, marbe nahasim, marbe da'agot. That's what Mishnah Pirkei Avot says. A person who increases his business dealings, he increases his stress and his worries. Because you have too much stress, you have too much worry, your blood pressure is through the roof, your blood is very viscous. If you continue like this, you're going to be putting yourself in the grave. You have to step away from work. He says to himself, okay, what am I going to do? I have all this gigantic business, a legacy of a business to pass on. Who am I going to pass it on? And he's sitting down, he's thinking to himself, maybe my kids, maybe my workers, who's the best worker in the thing. The next day he comes into the office, he announces everyone to come up, and all the workers come and they're surrounding him. And he says to them, I'm sure you all heard by now that the doctor said that I can no longer be in charge over here. I cannot be the one who's running the show. However, I will be behind the scenes, and I'm going to put someone over here as the CEO. The chief executive officer. He's going to be running the whole show, and I will be in the back of the scenes. So everyone's thinking to himself, I've been working here for 30 years. I've been here for a long time. His son's thinking, I'm the oldest kid, right? And he says, I'm proud to announce that, boom, this guy is the new owner. Now everyone's looking around. They have no idea who this guy is. They see a younger guy walking out from the back, walking to the front, dressed in some shlubby clothing, come onto the thing. This is the new owner. So everyone's looking at that. Who is this guy? We never seen his form in entire life. He's like, I'll tell you guys a story. I'll tell you exactly who this guy is. 6 months ago, I went to pick up from one of my vendors some merchandise. I handed this young guy over here an envelope with $2,500 cash. He told me, when he handed me back the money, I told him I would never have known. He told me, you're right, but God would have known. So last night when I was sitting to myself, thinking to myself, who's a good person that I know that I can trust, that I can sleep at night, not to worry that he's ever going to cheat me? And this guy popped to my mind. So this guy is so honest that I know that I don't have to even watch him. Even when no one is watching him, he knows that God is watching him. And such a person who's God-fearing, he's a person that I know that I can rely and I can trust him to put him in charge, and I'll never lose a wink of sleep at night. Because I know that no matter what, he knows exactly who's above him. So God-fearing is one of the greatest attributes a person could have. So he's always telling him, don't forget how important this person is that needs to be God-fearing, because otherwise you cannot be a leader. A person who has no fear of God is a person who can never be a leader. Without this attribute, you will never be able to lead anybody. A person who leads for honor and stature, what do they say? A person who runs after honor runs away from him. A person who runs away from honor runs after him. So too with money, so too with everything in the world. It's a principle of the world. The more you chase after something, the more it runs away from you. The more you try to get away from something, the more it will chase after you. It's a very simple concept. And we see what ends up happening. At this point, after everything was set, and Yitro liked how his son was situated over there, all the Jewish nation, he said, okay, I'm going to leave now. It's time for me to go back home. Now, we learned last week, what does Gemara Masechet Sanhedrin say? That Yitro circumcised himself on the spot, became a Jew. So Rashi right away says, I don't understand. How is he going back home? It doesn't make any sense. The Jewish people are over here. You're in the epicenter of what it is to be in the Jewish community. You became a Jew. Where are you going back to Midian now? You're going back to a place where there's idol worship? So says Rashi, he says, quoting the Mechilta, that really Yitro went back for what reason? He went back in order to give chizuk to his family. He says, if I'm going to stay over here, you're right. I can be over here with the Jewish people in the epicenter. But what about all my family that I left back home? If I'm not going to go back and teach them, they're never going to become Jewish. And later on we see the Ber Yitzchak quotes that Yitro's family actually converted to Judaism. Because he went back. For that reason he went back. Now what ends up happening? At this point, now we start to prepare for Matan Torah. Hashem comes to Moshe Rabbeinu and says, tell the nation to prepare themselves. 3 days. 3 days separate from their wives. They have to go to the mikveh. And on the third day, I will come, I will present myself before them, and I'll give them the Torah. So Moshe Rabbeinu comes to the nation and says, 3 days step away from your wife. You cannot be with your wife. You guys cannot be together. Also, you have to go and dip in the mikveh to sanctify yourself and get ready, because on the third day, God is going to come. Now what happened to the third day? On the third morning, likrat boker, almost in morning, it says. Rashi explains, why does the Pasuk tell us almost at morning? To teach us that when God came to Har Sinai to give us the Torah, what were we doing? We were sleeping. God came to give the Torah, this big revelation. We waited, we built up all this time to get over here, and what are we doing? Sleeping. And then comes the thunder, the lightning, the clouds, the shofar gadol, the loud, very loud, powerful shofar, and it woke us up out of fear, and everyone was shaking and trembling. Good? And then, of course, begins the process of giving them Matan Torah. But before I get over there, I want to focus in on something very interesting. We know that Pesach will come with us in a few months. But on Pesach, we recount all these stories. And one of the interesting parts on Pesach that Anshe Knesset HaGdolah formed, one of the things they formed was the Haggadah. We read every year the Haggadah, and obviously in the later years, we see that there were things that were added, most notably Rav Amram Gaon. He adds, some say that it's actually from him, because the last original source we have of this song. Everybody knows this song. What is it called? Dayenu. Ilu, Ilu, Hotzianu, Me Mitzrayim. You know the song? Dayenu, Dayenu. Everyone knows it. Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. Huh? We sing it every year. What do the words mean? Now I'm going to go over a few of them with you. I only have 4, not all of them. But I think they highlight a very important point. If God would have taken us out of Egypt and didn't bring judgment down on the Egyptians, it would have been enough. Good? If after He took us out, He would have gave us all their money, because we know the Jews left with all their money, and He wouldn't have split for us a sea of reeds, we would have got to the Yam Suf and He wouldn't be open, it would have been enough. Then what do we say? After everything Hashem did for us, if He would have gave us the Shabbat, but He didn't, and He wouldn't have brought us to Har Sinai, it would have been enough. And this is the main one. If He would have brought us to Har Sinai, but He wouldn't give us the Torah, it would have been enough. Good? So far so good. He would have taken us out of Egypt and didn't kill all the Egyptians. He didn't do judgment on them. It would have been enough. All we needed was to go out. Right? 2. If He would have taken us out with all of their money, meaning after we already left Egypt, and now we have all their money, we have the ability to go and have a livelihood, right? And not split the sea of reeds, it would have been enough. He would have split the sea of reeds, but not took us to Har Sinai. I'm saying, so Mechila, He would have gave us Shabbat and not brought us to Har Sinai, it would have been enough. And most notably, He would have brought us to Har Sinai and not given us the Torah, it would have been enough. Now, anything make sense over here to you? Huh? Does that make sense to you? God would have brought us to Har Sinai, the place where we're supposed to get the Torah. Says, okay, you got here now? Okay, go home. And not give us Torah. No, it would have been enough. How would it have been enough? Anyone understand over here how it would have been enough? So today I wanted to come talk about this question. And I'm happy to tell you there's 3 answers. 3 answers. 2 that I saw today, or earlier in the week. And a third one that Baruch Hashem, Mina Shamayim, Hashem gave me, which is seemingly simple, but when we get into the deeper details of it, we'll understand really what's going on. So first things first, we have to understand. Rav Baruch Halevi Epstein, who actually was the son of the author of Aruch HaShulchan. Not Shulchan Aruch, Aruch HaShulchan. One of the big halachic authorities. Right? He actually wrote a sefer on the Haggadah called Baruch She'amar. Good? He wrote a whole book, a commentary on the Haggadah. And on this piece of Dayenu, he writes over here like this. He writes over here. He lived about 100 years ago. He says, on face level, if we're looking at this of this piece over here of Dayenu, God would have brought us to the Mount Sinai, but He wouldn't give us a Torah, it would have been enough. Okay. It doesn't look like it's so great. What's so great about it? You brought us to the store and you didn't buy us anything. So what do we get from this? Don't bring us to the store at all. Huh? Imagine right now, that tells you, let's go to the toy store. You get to the toy store, you came? Okay, let's go home now. What did you bring me to the toy store for? I brought you to the toy store just so you can see the toys. What am I going to see the toys for? I want to bring one home. Might as well say you brought me to the toy store. Doesn't help anybody. So he says, on face level, if you're looking at it, doesn't make any sense. Dayenu, it would have been enough if you would have brought me to the toy store. Imagine a kid, take a 7-year-old kid and take him to the toy store, tell him, okay, let's go home. But it's enough that you brought me to the toy store. Yeah, right. Where are you going to find a kid like that? Huh? You're going to find a kid like that? 7-year-old kid can tell you, Ava, it's enough you took me over here. Nah, that action figure over there, the Nerf gun, all these toys over here, this dog, this puppy, this, I don't want it. Or your daughter, this doll, this unicorn. No, it's enough you brought me here. I saw the toys, it's enough for me to go home. It's on the face level, it doesn't make any sense. Good? So therefore, we have to say that really, just bringing us to Sinai doesn't actually mean just bringing us to Sinai. We have to understand what happened in Sinai before we even got the Torah. Before we even got the Torah, what happened in Sinai? The thunder, the lightning. We saw the presence of God. Right? We saw the presence of God. He says, just this concept of seeing the presence of God in Har Sinai, even though He wouldn't give us the Torah, just to see Him, to see His presence, His awe, His greatness, it would have been enough. That's one answer. He has another answer. This is a beautiful answer. He says, I will quote you 2 Gemarot. Betzah, Gemara Betzah, it says over there, Rabbi Meir. For what reason did the Jewish people get the Torah? Why did Hashem give the Torah to the Jewish people? What zchut did they have that they got the Torah? So what does the Gemara say? Because they're azin. You know what azin is? Aspanim, right? Brazen. Stubborn, brazen. You know why you got the Torah? Because you're stubborn. Because you're brazen. That's why we gave it to you. Says Rashi, you know what it means that they're stubborn? That they're stubborn people, but the Torah has the ability to be machnei libam, to talk to their hearts and to humble them. Good? Says the Gemara in Sotah. Rav Yosef says, a person should learn from the wisdom of God not to be a person who's arrogant. Always be a person who's humble. How do you know? Hashem in Himself, when He chose the place to give the Torah, where did He choose it? He didn't take all the highest mountains in the world. He didn't go to the Alps. He didn't go to any of the highest mountains in the world. Where did He go? To the lowest mountain. One of the lowest mountains in the world, Har Sinai. Says the Gemara, from there you learn a person in life has to be like God. What does it mean? To be a person who's anav, to be a person who is humble, has humility. What do we learn from over there? We see the whole reason that we got the Torah in the first place was to humble us. The Gemara is telling us straight up. Humility is the greatest attribute a person could have. How do you know? Who is the greatest prophet to ever live? We say it in the 13 attributes every single day. Moshe Rabbeinu. What's the only thing the Torah testifies on him? The most humble person to ever live. So we see humility is one of the greatest attributes a person could have in the whole entire world. So you would have brought me to Sinai, and I would have got humbled because I would have saw the presence of God, I would have saw the greatness of God, it would have been enough for me. Good? It's a very good answer, no? Makes a lot of sense. At the end of the day, I don't need to go and get them a Torah, because if the whole purpose of Torah is for me to be a humble person, you seeing this thunder, this lightning, seeing the revelations of God that we see when the Torah actually came down, when He started speaking the 10 Commandments, they saw the letters coming out. They were literally, not just they heard, they saw the words. Ani Hashem, every word, they saw it spelled out in fire. Every word. So even if you didn't get to the Torah, just the revelation, just to see that shofar, the loud shofar, that all the nation was shaking from it. When they woke up, imagine waking to that, thunder, lightning, a loud sound of a shofar. Imagine waking up to that. Boo-hoo, the whole nation was shaking. How do you leave over there feeling like I'm the greatest person in the whole entire world? Somebody I know recently, without mentioning names, because he probably didn't give me permission to take by the story, one of the rabbis that I know, he recently got into a car accident. A very, very bad car accident. Life-threatening. All the airbags were deployed in the car. It was on a highway. And he said in the Sudat HaDa'ah, when he was giving thanks that God gave him the miracle and He saved his life, he said there is no more humbling experience for a person than to be in a car and almost lose his life and realize how insignificant and how easy his life is to be taken. There is no moment in the whole entire world, and when you're sitting in front of a chamber with a gun and a bullet, and at that moment, there's no such thing as a person who has holiness. When you're in a car accident, the car is flipping around and around and around, and the airbags are deployed, and you don't know what's happening to you, your wife, and your children. At that moment, there's no one person in the whole entire world. That's why I say there's no such thing as a real. No one in the world is an atheist. I think every person who touches he's an atheist is a liar. You know how I know? Put a gun to his head, put him in a situation like this. I don't care who he is, he's praying to someone. Right? I don't know if you're up there, but if you're there, please, I need your help. So I always tell people, if you say you're an atheist, you're really an agnostic, which basically means you believe in God, but you just believe in, you don't know which God. Right? I have a whole calculation on it. We can sit on it after. Well, it's a simple question to answer. This last week somebody came to me. It's the funniest thing. Guy comes to me, tells me, one guy comes to me, asks me a question about this concept of free will, and then this question of, so let me understand if there's a God. Good? Literally. Within 10 minutes, another guy walks up to me, tells me, I have a very difficult question for you. Very hard question. He said to me, you probably never heard this one before. I said, no, I'm waiting. I don't know if I can answer, but if Hashem wants to give me P'tatem D'Shmaya. What does he ask me? The same exact question the guy asked me 10 minutes ago. I start cracking up. I said, this guy 10 minutes ago asked me the same exact question. He starts laughing. He says, you see, in your mind, you think you have the craziest difficulties in the whole entire world. And meanwhile, it's the same question everybody else is asking. I have yet to find the person, and I sat down, one person in the back, testified with a guy who's a self-claimed atheist on the table. After 3-4 hours of arguing, he left over there believing in God. Wrong or right? You could say it. Okay? 3-4 hours, I'm sitting down with this guy, Mesichut Nefesh, 100%. I'm sitting down to 2-3 o'clock in the morning with him. Boom, boom, back, forth. Came in and saying, I don't believe. He left over there saying, you know what? It makes sense. Why? Because when you start asking questions, there's no doubts. It's inevitable. There is one truth and only one truth. I guarantee you, come sit down with me, we'll talk, no problem. I'll prove it every single one. Baruch Hashem. I have not yet had a person come to me, and not me, but I'm saying, me as a shaliach, me as a messenger of God, and ask me all their difficult questions, quote unquote difficult questions, and Baruch Hashem, every single one of them has an answer. Not because of me, because Torah is perfect. Torah is really truly divine. And anything that's divine has no holes, no kinks. Everything is there. Everything is inside the Torah. You will not find one thing wrong with it. So you see the greatness of God, you're not going to understand what it is to be a humble person. So to the car, at that moment, he's in a car accident, he has a gun, there is no greater level of humility in the whole entire world. You're waking up to thunder and lightning coming out of nowhere, the heavens are filled with dark clouds, and you're sitting down, you're hitting over there, you hear a shofar. Imagine now you hear shofar, you don't know where the shofar is coming from. And not just time shofar, like you have a, no, shofar, you hear the whole body shaking, like you have a bass speaker behind you in the wedding. You hear the whole thing, you can't even get home, you can't hear, your ears are ringing for 4 weeks. Yeah? Shofar, shabach shabbat, so they wake up. Huh? Shofar, what's the house in the tent? In the
house you have walls.
So what?
They're in the tent.
It went through.
They felt it.
You're saying the walls of the tent were small. It's true.
They felt it.
It's like that one time I was sitting in my shofar, I was sitting in my sukkah. And sukkah is like the Nene Kavod, it's like the clouds of glory that were encasing the Jewish people at the time, right? So one time I was sitting in my sukkah, and I have a shul next to me. They're not so religious, they're, reform. No, reform. Okay? Next to me, my thing, right? So I'm sleeping in a sukkah. And in the middle of the night, and then I hear the loudspeaker. They're sitting in the sukkah, they're having a sukkah, and all of a sudden I hear a duet. The rabbi and the rabbanit doing a duet. Baruch atah Hashem. And she goes, Elokeinu melech. Now I'm sitting over there and I'm trying to go to sleep. I say, Baruch, please make it stop. I said, I know you don't want to hear it. I also don't want to hear it. Please. It's not fair. I know. Now I understand what you're going through. Eh? So imagine now, that's what you're waking up to. Obviously, you're in Sarot. How much more? So you hear, whoa. So they were shaking, terrified. No more humility. Person that takes a person and makes him humble than that. That's one answer. Good? Here's the second answer. The Or Chaim quotes the Zohar Kadosh that says that when the Jewish people were in Egypt, they were on the 49th level of Tumah. Sounds familiar? That's why we have Sfirat Omer, we count up to 49, till Matan Torah, till we get the Torah, right? Because we're going up into levels, like the Or Chaim says, that we were in the 49th level of Tumah in Egypt, and when we got to Mount Sinai, we reached the 49th level of spirituality, the highest level of holiness. Well, one away from the highest level, 50 being the highest level. Good? We got the 49 level of Sinai. So we were at negative 49 inside of Egypt. We got to Har Sinai, and we were at 49. Good? So the second answer is You know why? It would have been enough if you would have just taken us out of Egypt. You would have taken us to the Sea of Reeds and not split it. You would have got us, because every step along the way we grew. Every step along the way we rose another level, another level, another level, another level, another level. And I heard in this week's shiur, every week, Cham Yitzchak Yosef, Cham Avadiah's son, who took over his position, every week Cham Avadiah used to give a shiur every Motzei Shabbat. And this one that just passed, Cham Yitzchak gave a shiur, and the Rav Magdim, the one who spoke before him, was Rav Yitzchak Halevi, who was his Talmid. Cham Yitzchak's Talmid, Rav Avadiah's son, is one of his Talmidim, one of his students is Rav Yitzchak Halevi. So he made a nice, interesting story. He says, there's a father who tells his son, if you're going to get 100 on your test, I'm going to take you to the ice cream store. And he starts painting the image in his mind. They have vanilla, chocolate, cookies and cream, butter pecan, pistachio, but the cream pistachio, not the fugazi pistachio, the real pistachio. And they have over there the hazelnut and the Chalav Yisrael Nutella. Yeah, not the... They have all the good stuff over there. The kid is, okay, but yeah, goes to school that next day, and he gets 100 on the test. Comes home, his father drives him in the car, they go to the ice cream store, yeah? They get to the ice cream store, he sees all these beautiful things, like his father said, pistachio, hazelnut, cama chiquitado, apa chiquitado, all these crazy names. He's sitting over there in the mirror, he's looking inside, he has the cones inside the ice cream. His father brings him to the thing, says, you saw it all? He says, good, let's go back home. Right? Similar to what we talked about before. And the kid's going, what? He says, you should be thankful. Most fathers won't even take their kids to the store, you at least got to see the ice cream. Good? Huh? Said, no? Huh? You did this? It's a real deal? No, his wife is saying it never happened. No, I mean. But the way you started laughing, it sounded like you have some memories. Huh? What careful? Shman, happened to me too. No, I'm kidding. Happened to all of us, Habibi. No, you didn't do it, don't worry. Long story short, now what is this kid going to feel? He gets to the ice cream store and sees it all, yeah? So the rabbi decides he's going to ask his son. He has a son who's a little bit, 8, 9 years old of age. So ask him, what do you think about this father? He says, he's a wicked father. Chaval, he took him to the store. He shouldn't take him to the store, B'chlal. Should have left him at home, he would have been happier. 100%. No? So if you're looking at him, we said it before, if you're looking at Matan Torah, seemingly the same thing. Oh, get to Har Sinai, but don't give us the Torah. So take me to the candy store, take me to the ice cream place, but don't give me the Torah, right? He says, that's all if you're looking at the ice cream store and Har Sinai as the same thing. But you forgot one thing. At the ice cream store, there is no benefit on the journey there. You literally gain nothing. If anything, you lost a few dollars in gas. At least the father paid for the gas. Yeah? Not the ice cream, but the gas. So he says, you lost a few dollars in gas. However, for the Jewish people, every step they took along the way to get to Har Sinai, to get over there, they elevated themselves. Therefore, the journey itself was worth it. Even though I didn't get to go in, the journey itself, the fact that I even got over here, I got to reach the highest level of one level away from the highest level of holiness, it's already worth it for me. Because every step along the way, they jumped a level. Now, let's do some simple math together, yeah? If they were on the 49th level of impurity, to reach the 49th level of purity, how many levels do they have to go? Why do you have to ruin it for everybody else, Habibi? 98. 49 to get to 0, and 49. Usually people get stuck with that one. 49 and 49, you get 98. 98 levels. You got to go from negative 49 to 0, and from 0...
to Mag and David, bro.
Oh, you see, that's what it is. I'm not taking that. I'm going to edit that one out. No? Negative 49. I'm probably not going to edit it out. Negative 49. I almost never do. Negative 49 to positive 49. You have to add. So to get to 0, 49. To get up to 49, 49, you have 98. Good? Let's say it takes every day one level. Yeah, one level every day. How many days would have taken them to get to the 98th, meaning to the 49th level? 98 days. Good. How many days?
You're counting 0?
He's going to take you to the ice cream store. He's going to take you to the ice cream store. He's not going to buy an ice cream.
0 days in count?
Huh?
0
What's a 0 day?
Negative 1,
Must
0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Are you saying 0 is considered necessary? I hear. Okay. I hear she cool. We have to do the math afterwards. This is what we call MA math. Whatever he said before. I don't want to say it. Okay?
No, not MA.
Let's ask the accountant. He knows better. No? I say 98 days, but you want to say 99? Okay, 99. Let's give it to you. 99 days. Yeah? Good? How many days? Makes sense. Man, makes sense. Yeah. How many days since they left Egypt? Huh? How many days they needed? 99 according to many. Machloket poskim, 98 according to everybody else. Yeah? How many days did they need? 99 days, yeah? 98. How many days did they need? Right? So how many days was there? How many days actually passed? From when they left Egypt until they got to Sinai? 49, but in your case 50. Huh? So basically, what level should it have been on? 0. Should have been on level 0. Huh? Whatever, you were 3 for 4. 3 for 4. We'll take 3 for 4. 75%. You have to be humble. Gotta get humble, okay? You got 3 for 4, it's good. They should have been at what level? 0. How did they get to level 49? 49 days passed. They should have got to the 0. Shouldn't have been. In 50 days. 0. Huh? Double down? Saying they double down. How do they double down? You have a pasuk in the Torah to prove it? You have a pasuk in the Torah, or you motzi it mesharvu like a magician? He's motzi it mesharvu like a magician. Day and night. Ooh, a dove. It proves. So what if I tell you what you're saying is true? Really, everything was expedited. How do you know who quotes this? Rashi, Siftei Chachamim quotes on Rashi, an earlier Rashi, that says that God actually expedited for them. Where do we know? From Ramses to Sukkot. From the city of Ramses to Sukkot, 2 different places. It was 120 min. It took them within a matter of seconds to get there. It should have been much longer, which is one case we see that it was very fast. So too, we see that the spiritual level, they went up in the numbers of 2, meaning they were expedited. But where do we see it? There's actually a pasuk in the Torah. You know what the pasuk in the Torah says? The pasuk in the Torah says that Hashem said to Moshe Rabbeinu, right before he was about to give Matan Torah, Yitro leaves, and they're about to get to Matan Torah. What did he say? Va'aseh etchem al kanfei nesharim, va'avi etchem elai. I will take you, right, on the wings of eagles, and I'll bring you to me. I carried you, right? I carried you on the wings of eagles, and I brought you to me. So I'm going to ask you a question. God really carried them on the wings of eagles? They came out of Egypt, everyone was riding an eagle, and came out of there, you know what? What eagles were they riding? Pasuk in the Torah, I didn't make this up. On kanfei nesharim, on the wings of eagles. Huh? So what does Rashi write on this, according to Mechilta? Rashi says something very interesting. Obviously Hashem didn't carry them on the wings of eagles. From here we learned that the same way the eagle is a very, very fast animal, so too HaKadosh Baruch Hu got them there very quickly. A few different answers, that the eagle can fly over the water, so too they went over the water and they came out completely dry. A few different answers. But Rashi has a very interesting answer on this. And he says, you know why it says eagles? He says, because if you ever look at an eagle, it's different than every other bird. Whenever a bird has chicks, normally how do you see a bird carry its chicks? In its claws. It'll pick it up in its claws and it'll carry it. Why? Says Rashi, because it's afraid that another bird from above will come and attack it, so they put them on the bottom and try to, save it. Good? So they won't get hurt. However, an eagle is one of the only birds that actually carries its chicks on its wings. Why is that? Because the eagle is not afraid of any other higher bird than him. There is no higher bird than an eagle. The eagle is the top of the food chain for the birds. Good? So why does he carry them on his wings? Because the only thing that the eagle's afraid of, the only thing the eagle's concerned of is man. That someone, they're going to pull an arrow. They're going to take an arrow, they're going to shoot it up to the heavens, and it's going to kill the eagle, or it's going to hit the children. So what does the eagle do? It says, I'm going to take the damage. I'm going to put you on top of me, and I'm going to take the damage. I'll take the arrows. I'll take the blows. Right? I'll take the hits, as long as you stay protected. And why is that, like what he was saying in the Nekavod, the clouds of glory? Why is that likened to God? Because when the Egypts came after us, what were they doing? They were shooting arrows at us. And what did God do? He took the cloud of glory, put it behind us, and the cloud of glory was taking the blows, taking the arrows, and we were saved. So too, God said, I carried you guys like eagles. Now what do you learn from over here? One, you learn how much God loves you. How do you know how much Hashem loves you? In the next verse, it says, and if you will listen and keep my laws, right after it says this, right? If you will listen and keep my laws, you will be for me segula. What's segula? Treasure. You will be for me, Am segula. You know what Am segula means? A nation of treasure. What does it mean, a nation of treasure? Huh? Says Rashi, you know what it means? It says treasure the most valuable treasure in the whole entire world. And don't say that I don't have any other treasures. Because the whole entire world is mine, but even still, I don't have any eyes for any of it. The only thing I see is you. The Jewish nation, out of all the creation of the whole entire world, the most important thing to me in the whole entire world is you. There is nothing as important to me as you. So if you're a Jew and you're sitting over here, just know that out of everything you see over here, the ground, the earth, Tesla, everything you see, Hashem loves you more. Yeah? Everything that was made, even the NBA, Habibi, Hashem loves you more. Who's winning? Huh? We say Hashem loves you more. He loves you more than anything in the whole entire world. Out of all the entire creation, Rashi says, everything, the whole world is mine, the whole earth is mine, and even still, all of it in my eyes is nothing, but you are in my eyes are everything. So you see how much Hashem loves you. That when it comes taking the blows, Hashem says, I'll take the blows. How do you know? The Beit HaMikdash. Since the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed, what happened? We know that the Jewish people spiritually, we did actions that we had to pay a bill. And God was faced with a decision. What decision? Either my home or my people. And he took his wrath out on his home and that's his nation. Meaning to say God is willing to suffer. Right? God is willing to suffer, take the blows, while we're good. How do you know? Masechet Brachot says that every single night God wakes up in the middle of the night and he cries out like a lion in the middle of the night, crying on the fact that he sits down, takes an ash and he puts it on his head, sits down on the floor, metaphorically speaking, and he cries out like a lion over the Choban Beit HaMikdash. Don't think it doesn't hurt Hashem that the Choban Beit HaMikdash. Don't think that God is not upset that there's no Beit HaMikdash. And even still, you see Hashem says, if it's you or that, it's that. It's that's being destroyed. You stay. Because when it comes to taking the blows, I'll take the blows as long as you stay. That's how much I love you. Look at the immense love Hashem has for every single one of you. Good? Another thing we learn from over there. We see that it says that the eagle, which we just juxtaposed, we just compared to God. We said, oh, you know that God carried you like an eagle. Wait a second. So what you want to say, that God is like an eagle? That he carried you? But 2 seconds ago you just said that the eagle is only afraid of man. Is God afraid of man? Chas v'shalom. God is not afraid of man. There's no even inkling of a thought that God is afraid of man. So what is this concept that God is only concerned with man? God is only concerned with man. What does he mean to say? We spoke about this in the past, Masechet Sotah, Masechet Pesachim, right? Kashe zivgoto u'mezonoto shel ben adam, like Kirat Yam Suf. Meaning to say, we learned in the past this concept of the limitations that human beings place on God with their actions. The way we interact in the world affects the way that God interacts with the world. And therefore, the only thing he's concerned with is us. What does it mean to say? Look how great your power is. That you have the ability even, chas v'shalom, not to influence him, but to limit the amount of blessing that you bring down to the world, that God brings down to the world. Why? Through your actions. The more emeritus you are, the more good deeds you do, the more Hashem can bring down for you. The less you do, the less Hashem can bring down for you. So your actions is the only one that can affect the amount that Hashem is bringing down into the world. There is nothing else above him. And eagle has nothing else above him. Hashem is not worried about any other gods because there is no other gods. He's not worried about anything. The only thing he's concerned about is us. Why? Because our actions affect the way he interacts with the world. And more than that, like any other father in the world, a child cannot affect the father's life. What do I mean to say? Obviously it hurts him, it pains him, but if the father has a job and his kid's not doing good in school, or his kid, God forbid, went off the way, or he fell into drugs, the father's business is continuing to operate like normal. His house is still operating like normal. Yes, obviously there's the pain, the suffering, but what changed in his life? Zero. Right? And even still, it affects the father. Why? Because he loves his son and he hates to see him not doing good. So too, when the kid does good. How happy is the father when his son comes home with 100 on the test? How does the father feel? Whoa, they put it up on the refrigerator. They have a special magnet over there. They give him a candy. We're going out to ice cream this weekend. No, I'm really going to buy you ice cream. I'm not going to be like that guy. No, I'm really going to buy you the ice cream. Don't worry. Huh? Not this guy. That guy. I'm really going to buy you the ice cream. It's the best thing in the whole entire world. Let me ask you a question. When the kid comes home with 100 on the test, there's more fruits in the pocket? Huh? There's more money in the pocket? His wife got prettier? The house got bigger, the car got longer, the car got nicer, he upgraded from a Mercedes to a Benz. What the hell? I said Mercedes-Benz, the same thing, no? See how much I know, huh? I thought they're two different cars. No, I'm kidding. He upgraded. What happened in his life? Nothing changed, but he's happy. Why is he happy? Because his son is succeeding. So too, Hashem says, You cannot affect my life. You can't change anything in my life. But when you're doing good, it affects my life because it makes me happy that you're doing good. And that's why Hashem gave you the Torah. You know why you get Matan Torah? You know why you get the Torah? Because the Torah is the blueprint of the world. You know when you buy a car, they have in the dash over there, nobody looks at it. It's the manual, of the car. How to run the car, how to operate the car, right? Nobody looks at it, right? They can't figure something out, then they open it, start ripping to the pages. But Hashem says, if you want to know how to operate this car, I created you, I created the world. You want to know how to optimally do everything in this world, you can figure it out on your own, right? If I give you a car right now, I don't tell you if it's electric, I don't tell you if it's diesel, I don't tell you if it's gas. Good? I don't tell you anything. I put the manual in the glove compartment, and you went to the gas station, you filled up regular, and the car was diesel. You called me back, said the car blew up. I said, what? Yeah, because you put it in the regular gas. You're supposed to put in diesel. Right? So too, Hashem says, I give you are one of my creations, this world is my creation. I give you a blueprint of how to live this world in the most optimal way. Well, you will be the happiest, because all I want for you is to succeed. So I didn't give you a book of laws because I'm sitting up here in heaven saying, wow, look at this guy sitting down in Shabbat. What does Hashem gain from it? Why did he give it to you? He gave it to you because this is the blueprint of what it means to live a happy life. And as much as it's, we say the Yetzirah, so why doesn't everyone go to the Torah? Why doesn't everyone do it if it's so clear cut that it's the best thing in the whole entire world? Because the Yetzirah, his evil inclination, his job is the smoke in the mirrors. He makes you think, look at this guy, he's religious, he's suffering. Or my favorite, brainwashed. Oh, I love when they tell me that. Brainwashed. I said, really? Come. Come sit down, please. Let's see who's brainwashed, yeah? Let's see who's brainwashed. He takes the chair over there. He knows I really rushed his brain. There's a brainwashed. There's a brainwashed, there's a brain not lying. Yeah? Brainwashed. I can't stand people say that things. It's the silliest thing in the whole entire world. So ignorant. But what we see, people in the world, they see from the outside, look, he's suffering, he's this, he's that, all those limitations. We spoke about in the past that all the limitations of the Torah are only there for you. They're there to make you happy. They're there to make you enjoy life. I'm not going to go into all that now. But we had many conversations about this idea of how limitations is the secret to happiness. Torah says, you want to have happiness? Torah. Go ahead. Learn it, you'll be happy. Live it, you'll be happy. If you will go in my ways, you'll become a treasure to me. I'll love you, I'll cherish you, you'll become my greatest son in the whole entire world. And like any father who loves his son, what does he do? Only wants to give and give and give and give. And that's why every Dayenu, it doesn't stop over there. It would have been enough, but you gave us more. Oh, it would have been enough, but you gave us more. Oh, Dayenu, it would have been enough over here, stop. No, I want to give you more. No, I want to give you more. Oh, you appreciate what I give you? Okay, I want to give you more. That's the same thing, similar concept with us. All Hashem wants to do is give us. And here's the third answer. You guys ready for it? I know, you ready? You changing your screen protector? מה קרה פה? Need some tape? מה קרה פה? פדיחות. Okay? Now here's the third answer to this question of Dayenu. It would have been enough if you took us to Har Sinai. Yeah, it would have been enough. And didn't give us Torah. Here's the third answer. This is one that Baruch Hashem, it came to me. It's pashut. But today, it really hit me strong. Just today, I was sitting down, it hit me. I quickly ran, I got my notebook, I wrote it down just to remember the point, prepare the class. But here's the point. In our lives, people are so focused on their goals and what they're trying to achieve today that they forget to look back and realize how far they've come. What do I mean to say? Sometimes in life, you want to reach something, you want to attain something. So you're focused on that. If that doesn't come true, then you feel down, you feel miserable, you feel like, But you forget how much you had to go through to get over here. I'll tell you a story. There was a guy who was working in what we call a dead-end desk job. Sitting over there, getting paid minimum wage, working in a desk. He felt like he was in a trap. Hated his life, couldn't stand this job. And every day he would pray for God for salvation. Every day. And every day he had to go, what can he do? He had to bring home food for the family. If I can leave my job, what can I do? What did this guy love to do? Write books. He loved to write books. So he, in his free time, he would sit down and write novels. And every day he would pray to Hashem that he would get to leave his job. And he would publish his novels online. He had very few followers. One day he gets a phone call. Hello, you Mr. So-and-so? He goes, yeah. He goes, I'm calling from this publishing house. I actually came across one of your short novels online. I think it's a great piece of work. We want to print it. Come down to the office, we'll have a meeting. He goes to the office, they have a meeting, they put his novel in print. And he builds a little bit of following, he starts to make a little money. And he's able to leave his job and pursue, what's it called, the writing books full time. However, anyone who knows what it is like writing a book, writing one book is not enough to bring money home. You have to continue. So he wrote one novel, a short novel. So as soon as he started seeing that there was an opportunity over there, what did he do? He said, I'm going to write myself a book. He started sitting at home, going through every idea in his mind, going through everything he could possibly do, and started writing, created writer's block, not writer's block. After about 7-8 months, he comes out with a book, small book. And he goes to every publishing house with a copy of the book. He says, please publish the book. People, everyone rejects him. Until finally, he finds one guy and says, you know what, I'm willing to put it into print. And they published the book. And thank God the book did well. He didn't become crazy famous, but he built a little following. He started to make money. The book was selling nice. And he wanted to continue. And so on and so forth. He continued to write more books until he became an acclaimed author. He had a name. He wasn't the biggest in the world, but he had a name. And one day he's sitting at home. He wakes up in the middle of the night. He has an idea come to his head. Something way out of left field. Something creative. He says, you know what? I had an idea for a series. A book series. Now, if you're a writer, if you write a series, it's guaranteed 5-6 books. It's sales. And if it goes big, if it's the next, who knows, it's one of the big ones, you can, who knows, maybe a movie deal, whatever, who knows. It can be a lot of money. He wakes up in the morning and says, okay, but I'm taking a risk because it's not my normal style. People know me for this style. It's a little bit, but I'm going to write it. He writes the book, sits down, he writes the first book, and he writes another page outlining the idea that he has for the series. And he starts to send it out to publishing houses. Here, and what happens? No, rejection. For months on end, everybody rejecting the book. Good? One day he gets a call from one of the mainstream publishing houses. I was telling him, listen, this book came across my table. And I was thinking to myself, the idea seems interesting. I want to hear more. Come in. I'm interested. That night, he goes home. He's ecstatic. He's elated. He's dancing with his wife. It's amazing. If this book is going to go, we're going to be set for life. It's going to be the best thing in the whole entire world. And he can't sleep that night. He's barely sleeping. He's tossing and turning. He's the smile on his face. He's so happy. You know? He can't sleep. He wakes up the sun. The sun doesn't wake him up. He goes to the rooster. He wakes her up. He was so excited. He wakes up in the morning, he gets his nicest suit. Yeah, he puts it on, puts a tie, puts the pocket square, puts on the monocle, I'm kidding. Yeah? And he goes. And he's excited, he's sitting over there in the waiting room. His foot is tapping, he's having a good time, he's happy. What's it's gonna go? He gets into the room. After a lengthy conversation, the main guy of the publishing house tells him, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. He goes home, depressed. He's down, he's crying. All that energy he had, all that happiness is gone. He comes home and just crashes on the couch. Oh, my life is over, like this. Now his wife sees him in about half an hour. She can't stand it anymore. She comes to him and tells him, stop wallowing in your pity. Get up, sit down. So he gets up, he sits down. What can you do? The wife's screaming at you. You have to listen, no? Screaming at him, gets up. He goes, look at me. He goes, no, it was such this was the one. She goes, stand up. He stands up, she goes, look around. Look at our house. Look at your wife. Look at the car in the driveway. Says, you don't remember, but not too long ago you were working that dead-end job. Not too long ago you were writing your first book. Not too long ago you were begging for someone to publish your second book. And all of them went. And now you're sitting over here and you're saying, You're so focused on this series, you totally forgot the fact that you were the same guy who was working a dead-end job, praying every day to get out of here. Praying every single day to get out of here. So instead of looking forward and saying, look what I don't have yet, look how much you do have. Look how much had to happen for you to get here. Wow. So too the Jewish nation. When we were in Egypt, what's the only thing we're thinking about? Getting out of Egypt. So if you would have taken us out of Egypt, it's the only thing we wanted. It would have been enough. We got out. We left that dead-end job. We got out. It's enough. You would have gave us money, we would have had financial freedom, and you didn't split the Sea of Reeds, it would have been enough. You split the Sea of Reeds and made us closer to our destination of Eretz Yisrael, to Matan Torah, it would have been enough. You killed our enemies, so that way our oppressors no longer chase after us. What happened? All the Egyptians died. They turn around, they don't have to worry about anybody chasing after them. They don't have to worry about anything. That's it, they're all dead. It would have been enough. You gave us Shabbat, the holy sanctity of Shabbat, and took us to Al Sinai, it would have been enough. Even if you didn't give us the Torah. What does it mean to say? Every step along the way, you have to realize, remember to yourself, the fact that you're even here. Remember a long time ago, you weren't even here. And now you're so focused on the future, you're so focused on the goals that are ahead of you, you forget to look back and say, look how much God gave me that I actually am here. The fact that I even made it here. 5 years ago, I was praying to be in this position. And now I'm here and I'm complaining about the fact that I didn't get the next step in the thing. Okay, it'll come at the right time, but how thankful do I have to be that I even got here? A kid who goes to school, or a girl who goes to school wants to become a dentist. When she's there, also thinking about it, I can't wait to finally become a dentist. Then she becomes a dentist, I can't wait to kind of get home. Huh? But man, I always imagine, I'm sorry, but what happens if you get one guy comes to the thing and you know? There's one so bad you smell to the mask, you know, woof, you know, give me another 2 masks. What do you do in that case? But either way.
Give him mouthwash.
Huh?
Give him mouthwash.
You give him mouthwash? Yeah? You know? So you doing a side? So you doing a side? That's why my dentist gave me the mouth. I'm kidding. Huh? Oh, we see, your whole life you have sheifot. Your whole life you have goals. I forgot that. Oh. Bleach. That's a bleach his teeth. Bleach his insides. Bleach his insides. Skin them very nice, not getting off. This is not a dentist, this is a obituary. He's going to be doing this, he's going to give some bleach. He was a great guy, He's going to start doing the levaya on the spot. And call all his friends and family to come and join us. Shiva Cole will be starting over here in the dentist's office. No, but seriously, ask yourself a question. How many times in life you had sheifot, you wanted to go somewhere, you have goals, and you say to yourself, it didn't work out, and you get upset, and you get this, and you get that. You don't remember that a few years ago you were the same person who was begging to be in the position you are today? You don't remember? When things were tough, when this and this and that, you were begging to be here, and you got here, and now you're saying, no, look Hashem, what are you doing? Hashem says, take a minute, slow down. Dayenu. The fact that I even got here is enough. The fact that I'm even here is enough. No one said you have to be here. No one said you have to get to this position. We're all so focused on who we want to be, we forget about the fact of who we are. We're so focused on the future that we don't appreciate what we have today, what we have, what we attained. This is all the concept of Da'inu. You would have taken us, it would have been enough. You know why? Because when we were in Egypt, all we wanted to do was leave. You took us out, it's enough. Now you want to give us more, you want to continue to give us? Amazing. But every step, it would have been enough because every step, I was a person who wanted this. I was the person who needed this and you gave it to me. So what's the moral of the story? We have to not take anything for granted. You have to wholeheartedly understand. That's what the concept of humility is. Like the rabbi said who got into the car accident, you know what it is to take even life for granted. Because as soon as you're in that moment, you realize how fragile, how delicate your life is. And you realize that even that you shouldn't take for granted. You wake up in the morning, there's something else you shouldn't take for granted. Nothing in the world is a given. And we live in the world today that now more than everyone feels it's a given. They come to your house, they don't even help. Some people used to invite guests back in the day, they used to get up, at least try. At least try to help. No, let me help, let me wash one. Sometimes you invest, he comes when he puts his leg up, sits down on the thing. Yeah, I'll take some meatballs over there. Chutzpan. Come man. Huh? I'm serious. Today we live in a way, everyone feels, Magir, you know. You have to do it for me, you have to. Nothing is a given. Of course. Everyone's entitled. I know the word. You know what I'm saying? Okay, huh? Long story short, we live in such a place. You want to give? Yeah, maybe next week. You know. Huh? Listen. It's okay. Throw the words. Okay. But at the end of the day, we live in a world where people are so entitled. People don't think, they take everything for granted, and we don't realize how important it is, this concept of appreciation. And every step of your life is Dayenu. Everything. A guy who gets he wanted a brand new pair of shoes. I finally get the shoes. And then after 3 days, one other pair of shoes. Now these shoes are already in the closet. One guy was walking the other day, told me I have 67 shoes in my closet. I told him, you know exactly the amount of but 67, it's not 68. Flip-flop, 68. Yeah? 68. It's like, yeah, I don't wear this one, I don't wear this one. But there was a point when you wanted that one so bad, you were waiting for it to come in the mail and open the box. It came from StockX or whatever it came from. You're sitting over there. Yeah, I can. You ran into that's like a little giddy girl who takes the knife, opens it up, takes them out, smells them. And when I kick the bottom, starts licking the bottom. He's like, you're crazy. Puts them on and starts walking like a penguin. That's a call for 3 days. And then eventually he lets it go on them, and then after 2 weeks they get beat up, he throws them in the closet, and then he waits till another box to come in the mail. Do you appreciate those things? Even those little things. You appreciate the fact that you even got that milestone? The problem is people are so focused on the bigger goal, they don't appreciate the sub-goals, they don't appreciate the little milestones along the way. And that's what Dayan is all about. It's all about appreciating that, everything you have. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. That's the most important thing you could have in your entire life is appreciation. We said it before in the past. I'll say it again briefly. What's the first original sin? People always say, Etzadah, that they ate from the tree of Da'at, they ate from the knowledge, they took out the knowledge. But the reality is that that's actually not the first original sin. The first original sin stems down to 2 things. 2 things. The sages teach us that Adam HaRishon, 2 things he had, a 3rd thing he missed. What do I mean? 2 he had, 1 he didn't. Dam me'echin bata, me'efa ta olech, לפני מי אתה עתיד לתת דין וחשבון. 3 things that a person has to keep in front of him at all times. Know where you came from, know where you're going, and know who inevitably at the end of 120 years, who you're going to come and give judgment in front of. Good? Which 2 did Adam HaRishon have? He knew where he was going because Gan Eden was in front of him. That was his future, right? He knew who he's going to give judgment in front of, and then because he spoke to God face to face. So what didn't he know? Where he came from. Where did Adam come from? The ground. You came from Adama. Good? What ends up happening? Chava, the snake tells her, Adam tells her don't touch, the snake pushes her, she touches, oh you see, okay, you can also eat. She eats. And then she tells her husband, if I'm going down, you're going down with me. Yeah? She tells him, come, take a bite also. He also eats. And then, now, if that's your son, good? Imagine your son, you're telling him, Chas v'shalom, you have a PlayStation in the house, but if you have a PlayStation in the house, you tell your son, don't play PlayStation, good? And then you hear, from upstairs. What are you doing? You're running upstairs, knocking on the door, shoot me! If you're a gorilla, you're going to start breaking the whole PlayStation, yeah? So his father, take the whole thing, boom! The kid's going to look at you and says, Chamor, you paid for that thing anyways. He's like, okay, 2 months, you buy me another one. That's your own money. Lo mafriya li. Boys, I get you back. Yeah, 2 months, I'm out. Yeah, it's alright. It's alright. Yeah, you get better anyways. You're not good anyway. Don't worry, 2 months, I'll be back. I'll smoke you guys again. Whoa! You know? Like, oh, it's coming out. I'll do that, right? But if you knew your son was doing something you told him not to do, you hear from upstairs, what are you going to do? You're going to come running, break the whole thing down, right? Hashem tells them, everything in front of you is yours. This tree, don't eat from it. Good? This 1 tree, that's it. I'm asking for a lot. You see this 1 tree? Don't touch. Huh? This one. Everything else, shulcha. And they eat. Hashem knows. For sure Hashem knows, no? Something Hashem doesn't know. What does Hashem do? V'ruach Hashem and Chefet, and he starts walking to the vineyard. And what did he say? Ayeka, where are you? Where are you? It sounds like a father who's upset. Huh? It sounds like a person who's upset. So what's going on over here? And then he comes to Adam, he starts playing a game with him. He goes, why are you hiding? He goes, oh, I'm naked. Oh, who told you you're naked? Hashem is still playing a game, waiting for him to tell him that he ate from the tree. Hashem didn't know. What is all this game? And like a father who's not really upset with his son, he's just trying to teach him a lesson, give him a little patch, you know, give him a little, no, you know? And he comes to him and says to him, what did you do? Oh, the woman you gave me. And now the whole dynamic changes. Now Hashem gets upset. Oh, really? The woman I gave you? Okay, now from the sweat of your brow, you're going to go work for your food. And now I'm going to punish everybody. Good? Up to that point, no punishment. How do you know? Cain and Evel. Cain kills Evel. And then Cain sees his son still alive. He says, aren't you chayav mita? You killed your brother, you're supposed to be dead. He goes, no, I did tshuva. Mizmor shir yom HaShabbat. Adam wrote that. He says, Mizmor shir yom HaShabbat, tov lo tot Hashem. What was the day the day he did the sin? The 6th day. In a few hours, he was 2-3 hours away from what? Shabbat. Mizmor shir yom HaShabbat. A song to praise the day of Shabbat that I should have been coming into, and then the whole creation of the world would have been complete. Tov le'adot le'Hashem. It's good to give a praise to God, to pray to God, meaning to say it's good to go and do tshuva, to repent to God. And the fact that I didn't, he didn't even understand there's a concept of that. That he could have said, oh Hashem, forgive me, I ate from the tree. That's it, that's all he needed to do. But he didn't say that. Hashem says, that's how you appreciate the gift that I gave you, because lot adam levado, it's not good for the man to be alone. So he created him, Ezel Kenegdo, created him a woman. That was a present for him. And what did he say? The present you gave me, it's no good. It's a few kinks. That's not. It's just the scuff on the shoe. It's not for me. Huh? So I'm saying, so Chamim Magdir, they say that behind every sin, you see there is a concept of me, of arrogance, of entitlement. So what do we mean? Adam, you forgot where you came from? You came from dirt. You came from nothing. Now when Hashem gave you a present, you should appreciate everything you have. The fact that you're saying, the woman you gave me, what is it showing? You have a little bit of this concept of me. How do you know? The snake, what did he tell Chava to make her eat from the tree? God doesn't want you to be like him, because if you know the difference between good and evil, if you eat from the tree of knowledge, you'll be like him. Oh, I can be like God, so therefore I want to eat. So you see, again, a concept of me. So you see, everything boils down to this concept of entitlement, of this idea of not knowing where we came from. Adam came from dirt, we came from a putrid drop. That's what the Chachamim sages, right? A putrid drop, every single person in the whole entire world. So we don't know where we came from, so then we come into the world, we're like, you know who I am, you know, kulo goava. So that you forgot where you came from. And therefore you forgot where you came from, you ultimately become entitled. And if you're entitled, you want to appreciate. And appreciation is the key. Appreciation is the whole reason that we're here, is to fix that concept. If you're not fixing the eating from the tree, you can't take that bite. You know, you can regurgitate, you can become bulimic, you can choke it up, nothing's going to help you. The only thing you can fix is that lack of appreciation. And the fact that we're still here today is a proof that we didn't fix it yet. So what's the most important thing? It would have been enough if you put us over there, just so we can learn how to appreciate, because the whole concept of the whole entire world was for us to appreciate. The whole world was created in order for us to know how to appreciate. The whole entire world. And that's why it's such an important thing. I'll continue from here, just a small piece, and we'll go finish it over there. Continuing on, we see that we get to the Makot, the 10 plagues. Now, at this point, the thunder, the lightning, everything is very loud. Now, what's interesting is the first time that God gave the Luchot HaBrit, the 10 plagues, what did he do? Thunder, lightning, clouds, this, that, shofarim, everything, all 9 yards. And what happened to those tablets? They broke. The second one was quiet. No thunder, no lightning, no drums, no tiesto, nothing. Okay? And that's the one that has kaimut. What do you learn from over there? Everything that's hidden from the eye has blessing. Someone in the world, he wants to go, he's doing good, the business is doing good, he's ready. You know? One guy came to me and he tells me, look, he opens up his Chase bank account. What are you telling me? Chase bank account? Look, you see that? JP Morgan savings account, 1.3 million. I told him, great for you. What do I care? What does it do for me? It's not making a difference. Why are you so, why? Like, I'm like, next time print it out, put it on your chest, walk around like a chain. You have 1.3 million in a savings account. Why, you so bored with your life? You saw nothing else to do? And some people in the world, all they want to do is show off. You want to have blessing in the things that you do? And where is it the most nogea? When is the most in marriages? Shidduchim. When you go on a shidduch, right away you meet a nice guy, you meet a nice girl. What do? Right away, you start talking to all your girlfriends, talk to all your friends. Oh, you don't know, he's like this, he's like that, like that. What ends up happening? The whole thing breaks off. Why? First things first, Sif is Shayach. When you announce the engagement, they'll all hear about him. Don't worry. I'm sure they already will hear about him. But the minute you send out, the minute you click send, they'll already call you. You don't have to wait for the invitation to get to the thing. They already call you. Oh, who this guy? No. They know. I think like they know everybody. Like they have a database. Women, they have a database in their mind, mental database. They know everybody. Oh, he's the brother of his cousin's sister. Okay, I guess, yeah. Yeah. What happened? People want to go. They want to say everything. You want to have blessing in the things that you do? Don't be so quick to publicize. Keep everything on the low. You know what they say? Keep it on the low. Don't tell everybody. Don't go and publicize. Keep everything. Now, even when a deeper step is to be sensitive that other people don't have. Let's say someone him and his wife have a great marriage. They're very friendly, they're joking, they're funny, and they go on and the people over there and they're giggling and they're poking each other and they're shooting Nerf guns at each other. I don't know, they go to the park, start shooting Nerf guns at each other and she's giggling, she's laughing, and there's a guy walking by with his wife and they're fighting. He's sitting over there and he's looking at you guys as you know? Right away he's going in his mind saying, look at that, what ends up happening? Just like, oh, look at these people and next you come home, we have a fight. What happened? We just shooting Nerf at each other and then she put out the real Nerf gun on you. Oh, that's the big one. No. Yeah? Like we said last week, who's the one who killed all the armed robbers? Your wife. Habibi, it's not you. Go to sleep. That's all we see. At the end of the day, when you have something that someone else doesn't have, don't be so quick to go and show off. Keep everything to yourself. Hashem gave you blessing. You wanted to have blessing? Keep it on the low. Don't go and show it off. Don't publicize. Keep it to yourself. Good? Now, 10 commandments. We have 5 and 5. Adam le'makom, Adam le'chavero. Between you and God, and between you and your friend. Let's go through them really quickly. I'm your God. Good. Don't make yourself another. Good. Don't take my name in vain. Good. Shomer the Shabbat. Remember the Shabbat. Good. Respect your mother and your father. Good. Don't kill. Don't commit adultery. Don't steal. What does it say over here? Don't bring false witness. Sorry, it's written over here. I gotta talk to the guy who's writing these things up. I gotta call my ghostwriter, tell you making mistakes over here. No, this is me. I think that. And 10, don't cover thy neighbor. Don't envy thy neighbor. Yeah, don't cover thy neighbor's wife. Yeah. So you have 10, right? 10 between you and your fellow. Between you, don't kill him, don't steal from him, don't lie about him, right? 5, 5 about him, and 5 between you and God. So God says, I'm your God, don't make another, don't take my name in vain, Shabbat between me and you, Brit, Hi Leolam, it's a covenant between me and you, and honor your mother and your father. Honor your mother and your father, what are you doing on this side? Habibi, come over to this side. Wow. Whoa, what are you doing if you're in VIP? Habibi, go back to commercial. How'd you get the first class? Huh? Think about it. How did honor your mother and your father get to the fifth side? Huh? Because when a person honors his mother and his father, he respects also Hashem. How do you know? There's 3 partners in a person. You have your mother and your father who make your body, and you have God who makes your soul. So without one of the elements, you don't have a body, you don't have a goof, you don't have nothing. So but in turn, by respecting your parents, you are respecting God, which is what also God wants from you. Good? Another thing we see, that the letters of the last 5 are in a bigger font than the first 5. Why? Because God wanted to say, you would have thought that the first 5 has a greater weight, a greater value in my eyes. You should know the second 5 has the same level of value as the first one. Why is that? We see that literally right after Matan Torah, what do we have this week's parasha? Mishpatim. איך הגעת לשופטים, אחי? Jumping, the time machine. Huh? And what is it talking about? All the laws, not all of them, but majority of the laws of Ben Adam Lechavero. The laws of a person between a man and his fellow. Now if I'm asking, if you're God, what's the most important between me and God, right? So right away you should have told me all the laws between me and God. Because I'm going to give you the Torah, and right after I give you the Torah, then I'm going to go through all the laws of you and a man. Why? To teach you how important it is, Hashem, how much of Hashem values the way we treat one another. The way you treat one another. And I'll finish with this. Everyone knows when I say I finish with this, I'll usually finish with another 2 things, but I'll finish with this. The Kli Yakar, one of the famous commentaries, he says, it's a machloket, it's a argument between the sages, how many of the 10 commandments you heard from God? Was it 2 or 10? Some say we only heard 2 from God's ears, and then when the Jewish nation said we cannot hear anymore, Moshe, you speak, unless we're going to die, because the sages teach us that what happened, every one of them, they died, they would wake up, die, wake up. So 2 of them, they died, woke up, and said, no more. Moshe, you talk, I'm done. I don't know, every 2 minutes, I know, okay, thank you very much. From now on, it handles you. Good? And some say, according to the simple understanding, that all 10 we heard from God, so 10 times we died and woke back up, yeah, let's say. And only after that we said, no more. We don't want to hear God speak anymore because it's so powerful, we can't handle it. But now, why is the clear cut? What's the significance of 2? Why not 3? Says the clear cut something beautiful. You know why everyone who holds the first 2 they heard from God is? Because those are the first important 2, because the first 2 encompass the whole 10. Because if you have the first 2, you have everything else. What we say in the beginning, a person who has Yireh Hashem, a person who has fear of God, he has everything in the world, right? I am your God, don't make another. If you have that, you'll never kill. You never kill. You never steal. You never commit adultery. You never lie. You never become envious. You will never do anything if you just put God in front of you. Shivit Hashem Nagdi Tamid. You will never fall to any other one of the 10. Good? A secret. Ani Hashem, I'm your God. Don't make yourself another God. Who is included in that, by the way? Who's included in don't make yourself another God? Yourself. Don't make yourself into another God. What does it mean? The person starts thinking, oh, me, I know better than God. This is already making yourself into a God. No, God says to do like this, but I'm saying this is better. So you're making yourself into a God. So once you fall in these 2, guaranteed you'll fall in the other ones. But if you keep these 2, you don't have to worry about the other ones, you never fall in them, guaranteed. Good? First 2, I'm your God, don't make yourself another. And now we're going to finish. We're really going to finish here. Good? And obviously we know it ends. And now it says, Moshe nigash el arafel. And Moshe goes into the fog. What's the fog? There was a dark fog and heavy clouds and thunder, lightning that God came into. And we see Moshe Rabbeinu goes into it. At the end of the 10 Commandments, right before this beginning of last week's parasha, we see Moshe goes into the fog. So what do we teach? What do we learn from over there? What do I teach from over there? It says in Mefarshim that from there you learn that if a person who wants to see God, sometimes he has to go into the darkness to find God. You want to find God? Sometimes you have to go through the darkness. See Moshe Rabbeinu nigash el arafel. He didn't go. He went into the fog. He went in by himself. He said, I want to see God. You have to go sometimes into the darkness, because only through the darkness you see the light. What does it mean to say? I was speaking to somebody on the way over here about this concept. I said I was mentioning in the class just for him. Good? We see that if a person wants to build emunah and faith in God, the only way you're going to get to the place where you're going to build faith for God is by what? Being in a situation where your faith is tested. Your faith, your belief in God is a muscle. The more you put it under strain, the more you'll build it. You want to be Arnold Schwarzenegger of belief? No problem. All you got to do is pump it up. How do you pump it up? When you're in those situations, when you have those downs, or there's a little bit of turbulence, or your life is not what it seems, or you think, oh, I lost that deal, I didn't make it. In those moments is the time you need to believe. We said last week that what did Chizkiah do? He fell asleep. He fell asleep. That's the highest level of belief. You say to yourself, God, I'm placing everything on you. The more you work on it, the more you try and go into faith, the more it comes on you, these dark times and everything like that. It's a test for you. God's saying, right now I'm putting you a test because I want to strengthen your faith. And I'll finish with this. I heard a beautiful story one time of a kid. There was a plane. He went up on a commercial flight, and they're up in the air. And as soon as they're up in the air, they had a smooth takeoff. They get up into the air, and all of a sudden, they fasten the seatbelts on. The pilot of the plane says, listen, it's going to be a bumpy ride. Please, everybody, hold on tight. We're going to hit some heavy turbulence. Good? Now, everyone is sitting on the table. Now, I don't know if you've ever been on a plane when it has heavy turbulence. Huh? Everyone over there is praying. One guy's in the back saying Tehillim. One woman is in the back, I don't know, doing over there. Huh? One's screaming. One's this. One's that. Good? Everyone is going crazy because it's not a regular level of turbulence. Turbulence is right? And you see one kid over there, a 7-year-old kid sitting down, chilling, watching, just relaxing and sitting down the whole time reading a book, sitting down. So one guy says, what's going on with you? He says, the whole thing is, God forbid, we're going to crash, we might go down. You don't feel all this turbulence? He told him, no, I'm not worried. He says, why? Because my father's the pilot. He says, in life, if you know that you're in God's hands, and God's the one who's driving your life, He's the pilot of your life, guess what? You're never going to get to that place where you're worried. Because the turbulence is going to come. You're going to be sitting over there. Nothing changed in my life. You know why? Because God's the one driving the plane. He's the one taking me. I believe in Him wholeheartedly, 100%. No doubts about it, no questions about it. And if you know that God's the one driving the plane, you're never worried. Oh, turbulence coming, sitting over there. Wow, this is a very interesting book. Amen. Except for the one typo. No? But we'll finish it over here. In life, a person has to understand wholeheartedly and take it to his heart how much you have to appreciate everything you had and take nothing for granted because nothing is a given. And 2, understand who's the one driving your life. Sometimes life is going to hit you with turbulence. Remember, who's the one who's driving. If you're the one who's driving, be worried because for sure you're going to crash. But if it's Hashem, then nothing to worry about. Don't worry, He's the best pilot in the whole entire world. You can rely on Him. So if we all know that, then we'll have real emunah b'tachon, real faith in God, and then everything is enough. Understand? Amen.